Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leo shirt and the Sober Curator to bring you the November 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Cancer for Sun and Rising placements. I have my dog Cosmo on my lap here, and I am very well aware that we are already halfway through November for the most part, and that I am late on these videos. So I'm doing them anyways. I'm doing them for funsies. Still helpful, even though we're already in November. It's still nice to know the flavors of the month. And so I'm just going to get right into it and try to keep it pretty brief. But Cancer, welcome to November. We are in Scorpio season. You are cardinal water. You're the cardinal water sign of the zodiac, and Scorpio is the fixed water sign of the zodiac. So you guys make a harmonious trine to each other. Water likes water. And the area of the chart that we've got Scorpio hitting for you is the fifth house, which is the house that represents creativity and self expression. And so when we have the sun here, it's highlighting that part of the chart. This is a really positive time for you to focus on self expression, creativity, finding pleasure, joy, connecting with children, connecting with your own inner child, sharing who you are with others. Performance based activities are also encouraged, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to get into kind of just where we start the month out with outside of just the sun. So we have Mercury in, let's see, Scorpio starting the month out, Venus in Sagittarius, Mars in Cancer, in your sign, which it's been there for quite a while, I think since September. Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's just starting the month out. On the 1st of November, we have a new moon at 9 degrees Scorpio. Now, new moons are a great time for setting intentions towards things that we want to manifest and call into our lives. And because you have this new moon with Mercury also finishing up its stint here, happening in the fifth house, this is a really positive time for you to set intentions towards any creative endeavors, anything that has to do with how you want to express yourself and share yourself with the world. And then if you have kids or have a strong connection to kids, whether it's through parenting or teaching or bonding in any way, this is a good time to set intentions for that as well. Also, if you want to have kids or you're hoping to have a family, this is a good time to do any kind of ritual, fertility ritual kind of stuff. Even though Scorpio isn't really a sign of fertility, this house is really good for setting intentions towards that. So after the new moon, a couple other things that we're going to be starting the month out with pretty early on is Mercury is going to be leaving Scorpio, where it's been for the last month, and it's going to be entering the sign of Sagittarius on the 3rd. And then Mars is also the day after that going to be leaving Cancer and entering Leo. So I'm going to talk about Mercury entering Sagittarius first. Mercury is in its detriment in Sagittarius. It's the ruler of Gemini. And so when it enters Sagittarius, it's not its most comfortable placement. However, there is a really good opportunity when it's here for growth when it comes to our values and our beliefs, getting outside of maybe limited thinking. It's a really good energy for spiritual seeking. And it's entering the 6th house of the Cancer horoscope. And this is the house that has to do with your daily routines, how you structure your life. It's also values and beliefs around your health. It's also how you're of service. This can be a really philanthropic energy if you feel inclined to want to do any volunteer work. You also, have Venus here for the first week and a half or so of the month, and Venus is blessing these same themes until she moves into Capricorn. We'll talk about that later. Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius in the 6th house for the entire month of November. And part of the reason for that is that Mercury actually stations retrograde at the end of the month in Sagittarius. So whatever you're doing when it comes to your health, how you're of service in the work that you're doing, your relationship to pets and animals, all of that comes up for reflection and review towards the end of the month. So we'll touch on that again here in a bit, but it's just something to kind of be aware of. And because Mercury stations retrograde, it doesn't station direct until December, we do have Mercury in Sagittarius until January. So Mercury is going to be passing through this area of your chart for quite a while. Then, let's talk about Mars. So after that, Mars enters Leo. Now, this is also kicking off a completely new energy frequency for us that is interesting because Mars is going to be in Leo for the entire month of November, and then it's actually going to station retrograde in Leo in December, and it's going to move back into Cancer for some time, and then it's going to move forward in, station direct in Cancer, and then it's going to go into Leo again. And it really isn't going to leave this back and forth between Cancer and Leo until June. So we have all of this time with Mars kind of dancing between Leo and Cancer. And so, where Mars has been since September is your first house, which is the house of identity. And when Mars is passing through here, we feel very assertive with who we are, especially when it comes to our autonomy, our independence. And then when Mars enters the second house, in Leo for you, which happens, around the fourth, we do start to experience some turbulence when it comes to finances and material security. We also might be feeling some competition in the work environment, especially when it comes to financial goals. Money can also be coming in and going just as quickly. There's definitely conflict around material stability and security, but there's a lot of opportunity for us to hustle and direct our willpower towards the things that we want to manifest when it comes to work and money. So it's kind of an interesting thing there that's happening for you. Your work houses are very highlighted over this period of time over the next couple months. So the 10th house, the 6th house, and the second house are going to be very active during the month of November. You are going to be required to be very driven and passionate towards anything that you're doing creatively at work as well. And it's going to serve you to be open to growing, kind of beyond where you've been and how you show up, if that makes sense. After we have those big shifts of energy, the next shift is going to be Venus leaving Sagittarius and entering Capricorn around the 12th. And now Venus is going to be leaving your sixth house, which is that house of, organization, daily routine, service, health, and it's entering your house of relationships and partnerships. So when Venus is passing through the seventh house, this is an opportunity for you to really reflect on, how you're relating. If you want to start dating or you want romantic connection, Venus is here blessing that. It's also blessing business partnerships and relationships. It's also blessing best friendships, any kind of partnership dynamic. Venus is here blessing. And, it also makes you more focused on others and less focused on yourself during the rest of the month. After that, the next shift of energy is going to be Saturn stationing direct in Pisces. And then that is also coinciding with our full moon at 24 degrees of Taurus. The full moon is hitting in the 11th and 5th house axis for you. This is a really positive time for you to set intentions towards your community, how you show up in your community, the things that you want to manifest when it comes to friendship circles and group organizations. You also might experience some major changes in who you want to associate with. Uranus is going to be conjunct this moon. And, you might even experience some reflections and changes on political identities. Things like that are a theme. Where Saturn is stationing direct is your ninth house. So again, this, kind of reflect, review, reassess that you've had around values, beliefs, education, travel, like all these kinds of things are starting to gain more forward motion with Saturn stationing direct here. We've had Saturn in the ninth house in the Cancer horoscope all year, though it's not totally a new energy. After that, the next shift is Pluto entering Aquarius. Again, I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I've talked a lot about it in the past. And then we enter Sagittarius season on the 21st. So the sun will be moving out of Scorpio and moving into your sixth house and highlighting your health, your relationship to animals, your relationship to how you're of service in the work that you're doing. This is also, tied to how you're organizing your structure and your daily routine. And Sagittarius is not a grounded energy. It's very expansive. It's about growing beyond where you've been. So this is also an opportunity for you to learn new ways of doing things and maybe even integrate um, some other values or beliefs that maybe somebody else is turning you on to, and give something a shot that you normally maybe in the past wouldn't have. There's a lot of opportunity for you to grow when it comes to how you're structuring your life during Sagittarius season and some of the transits that are happening. On the 21st, we also entered the Mercury retrograde shadow. And so, once we enter the shadow period, it's advised that we're not really trying to solidify anything, because we're, again, not going to see a lot of forward motion in certain things. Mercury rules communication, contracts, technology, and in the sixth house where Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde on the 25th. This also has to do with your health and how you're structuring your day. Like, you're going to have to really be open to maybe some new health routines. So, it might go against some of your values and your beliefs too in the beginning. You might say, well, I don't want to live my life this way, or this isn't how I want to structure my life. Or, maybe you're an avid meat eater and you need to eat less meat, and your doctor's telling you you need these vitamins, or, all kinds of stuff like that. Like, maybe you need a new exercise routine. Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you exercise too much, or you're too diet focused. Maybe you need to let loose a little bit. Sagittarius likes to let loose. So either way, you're being asked to be open to integrating some kind of newness into your values and belief systems when it comes to how you take care of yourself, how you structure your life, all of that kind of stuff. And one of the things that kind of piggybacks off of this that's positive is that at the end of the month, on November 30th, we are going to have a new moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. And this is a great time for you to set intentions around what you want to integrate more into your life when it comes to sixth house themes. So, what that means essentially is, if you've had one value and one belief system about how you're relating to your life on a mundane level, and you're given this opportunity for that to grow and evolve, this is a great time to set intentions around the structure that you want to create or manifest around that. And, these things are always ebbing and flowing. When I was in my late 20s, I was, doing so much with my health, and I had these goals of like, I have to do yoga this amount of days, in order to feel good about myself and what I'm doing with my life and my body. And, I developed a really consistent yoga practice for many years, and it was great. It really was serving me. And then there was a time where it stopped serving me, and it was really, I had to allow myself to experience that change where I was like, yoga is really not serving me right now. And the type of yoga that I was doing wasn't serving me anymore for what I was going through physically in my body. And, it's hard because it's like I had this belief system that, like, a healthy, well-rounded person does yoga every day. I was sitting here and it wasn't helping me out. And I was like, I need to cool it. So we go through these periods where things change, and where maybe it was really helpful and beneficial for us to do one modality of health or wellness or routine. And then, our lifestyle changes or something shifts, and maybe it's just not constructive anymore. And, for some people, they might be like, how is yoga not constructive for you? And, one of the things for me was like, I had the back injury, and I was working with my physical therapist, who's also yoga trained and certified. Like, she knows yoga and Pilates and all that stuff. And there was just a lot of poses in yoga that were flaring my body up. And then I developed more severity with a vertigo issue that I have. And a lot of the yoga poses that I used to be able to do, it triggers my vertigo. And, this kind of falls into some of the areas of life sometimes where we can't control everything, like life happens and things shift and we don't really know why. I don't know why my brain wants to have vertigo all the time, and why certain poses now are just harder for me to do because of that. But, I've adjusted, right? I've changed. And I would say the value in those things is it's helped me release that belief system that, like, oh, I'm only a healthy or good person if I do yoga every day, because that's not true. I will say walking serves me well no matter what I'm going through. Like, walking is always beneficial to me. So I always try to walk, but maybe someday it's not going to be walking, it's going to be something else. But I think that my point in bringing that up is just when we're going through transits in the sign of Sagittarius in the house of health, we get challenged to grow and evolve past where we've been with something like that. And it's an opportunity for us to be open to integrating something new. And, you know, maybe for you, yoga is what you're supposed to be integrating. I let it out. Maybe you let it in or something else, you know, it could be like a different therapy modality even or spiritual modality. You know, there's been times when I've gotten really into certain spiritual practices and then I realized like this really isn't for me anymore. So things like that, you know, or daily routines. Like I used to think I had to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I'm not that person anymore. Will I go back to it? Maybe. Um, you know, all that kind of stuff, I think is an opportunity just for us to experience something different, something new, change our neural pathways and see how that benefits us. So that's a big theme for you going into November, setting intentions around how you structure your day and, you know, let yourself kind of be more mutable to seeing where life takes you in this next chapter. All right, Cancer, I'm going to leave you with that. I wish you the best of luck. If you liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. You will get notified on when I post these. And you can find me at theladyofleisure.com and thesobercurator.com. And I will see you all next month. Let's say bye to little Cosmo here.